by the fire and hear the tale of 5 steadfast adventurers as they explore the mysterious isles of Doctor. Join us on the Swordcast Adventures.
Last time on the Swordcast Adventures. We continued fighting our way up the cliff face. I was almost knocked off by falling boulders, but managed to grab one of the ropes that Grimtuck and Metolius were using to scale the wall. But managed to fuck up my palms real good in the process. Metolius called out to me to help. It took a second to click, but he called me Demesia. When the battle was over, we ascended the wall, and I confronted him, and he said Amelia knew me by that name. I was convinced that there was no way anyone on these islands would know who I was, and that no one from Neverwinter would follow me here. But then she says she learned our names in visions or some shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck to think. We make our way into the mountain, and there's this beautiful lake inside, so we decide to take some time to relax and wash up and fill our water skins. Metolius apologized. I decided to finally tell everyone the truth, or at least most of it. I've spent my entire life keeping secrets and never fully trusting even the people closest to me. But Neverwinter is just so far behind me now, and I'm tired. I'm tired, and all I want to do is let go of the secrets and the lies, and to put my faith in someone else for a change. I couldn't tell you why, but these fools are the ones to finally get me to do it. It feels so good to not be hiding anymore. And with an ocean between me and Neverwinter, I'm done running.
Thank you, Rain. So, as you all now stand on the opposite side of this ruins, this what once looked as though a statue now moves, eyes begin to open, dust begins to fall, body, old and large, creaks as though not been moved or used for a very long time. And this odd, bald, almost chalk-white skinned creature moves just slightly. You see its deep eyes glitter in the firelight as it trains them upon you all.
What was that for?
Sorry, it's a precaution. Who are you? Are you friend or foe?
Caution, disturbing my sleep again? Why? And with fire. Oh.
We've had bad luck with statues. Shit.
Do I look like a statue?
You kind of did.
I mean, no offense.
You see one giant eye kind of train upon the two of you now speaking, just looking at you.
First you wake me up to make me move. Then you throw fire in my face. What's next? Are you going to gut me?
Do you know a unicorn?
You see this exaggerated yawn, its jaw opening wider than expected, and its body lanky, stretching, odd, bulbous lumps seem to protrude out of its skin, even at its chest. It almost looks like it's wearing a breastplate, but it doesn't shine like metal. Instead, it sits as a protrusion of wood. It seems to be matte in nature. It doesn't glint from the light. And he looks at you all and kind of goes,
"It must be important if you're coming around again."
This is the first time we've been here.
Yeah, it's not easy to get here. This is our first stop through.
Impossible. You've passed through like twice now. Must be something interesting behind me.
We have? Like us, not just people who look like us, but us.
You see his eyes kind of squint in the light. It is dim still, even with the roaring fire. It's not fully exposing all of you, but he looks at you all and goes,
Amelia, could you shed some light on the situation?
Amelia reaches into her pouch and pulls out the vial with a firefly in it and sticks it in her staff.
Swanky. And
Yep.
the room now fills. You now can see much better as the firelight, though continuous, didn't emanate as powerfully as you would expect from the size of it. But instead now, with the light glowing off of your staff, you see the statuary are almost that broken humanoid shapes scattered across the ground. And now the giant sitting down kind of shakes its eyes, not used to being so taken aback by the brightness of your light. It kind of shudders for a moment and looks back and goes,
You look all familiar, yes. Done this before? What? Are you trying to confuse me? It won't work. I'm very old.
Do you know our names?
I would like to insight check him.
okay, sure.
I would like to nature check him.
Sure.
I just was asking if he knew our names.
Let's start. I'm going to insight, then I have an explanation that we can then...
Yeah.
Dirty 20 on the insight.
From what you can read from his kind of features, he thinks he's telling the truth.
Okay.
It's hard to tell if what his truth is actual.
Sure.
This also now, the light now kind of shining across him, you see odd bits sticking out of his chalk white skin. That breastplate that was talked about before that didn't shine in the firelight now looks like the bow of the very front point of a ship, sticking forth from the kind of skin on his chest. The rest of him draped in leathers and furs, and on his arms sit this what looks like a second face. This one doesn't move. It seems almost made of marble. Its make, and on the other side, the top of a column kind of protrudes just below, like just out of the skin, but not fully. Your nature check, Metolius?
14. 14.
From all of the things you can gather, it looks like a stone giant, but odd and different, and you're not exactly sure why. But the skin, the pallor, the way the skeletal structure of the face, it looks like a stone giant, and again, all the bits like that he wears seems very reminiscent, but the actions, the conversation, doesn't fit right. Something doesn't seem right.
I have experience with giants, but he looks like a cobbled together piece of something. That's weird. Alright.
What is your name, friend?
Or, yeah.
Rude. Never you giving me yours and asking mine.
But you said we'd been through here before.
And never once did you give me your name. So why should I give you mine?
I am Grimtuck of the Shatterchain tribe.
You shattered chains.
On occasion.
Why?
Because nobody likes to be chained. I've actually never had anybody ask me that question before.
But they are useful.
For keeping slaves.
Or keeping pants up, weapon on.
Chaining weapons?
I have very large weapons.
Can I see them?
No,
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I do not need weapons now.
Why? Did nobody threaten you?
Who is up here to threaten me but you? Are you threatening me?
No. I
God
just
damn it.
curious. Yeah, you just...
I just slid into that one. I'm sorry, guys.
guys. Let's start over from the beginning. So again, I am Grimtuck of the Shatterchain tribe. What is your name?
You shattered chain.
No, sorry.
I was half expecting it to go back there.
If you must know, now that you finally wish to understand, it's Glockmere.
Glockmere. And Glockmere?
Glockmere.
Glockmere.
It's heavy D.
Don't. That's your name now. If I may ask, Glockmere, What manner of construct, person, beast are you? Giant.
Stone giant.
You seem unlike any giant I've ever seen.
You seem unlike any shattering chain I've ever seen.
Thank you. They don't make them like me.
Broke the mold as I have, I understand.
Master Dockmere, I am Metolius Blackthorn, warrior of Maliki, goddess of the forest. Do you know anything about whom I speak?
No.
I see.
Who are these kings, queens, people of royalty? Ones that may have things to give.
You wish to barter for passage?
If you wish to give, I could let you pass again. I do not understand why the 5 of you would need to go in a 3rd time, but it must be interesting.
What? So his name's Dockmere?
Dlak.
Dockmere.
Dlakmir.
I missed that.
Amelia chimes in and she says, "Good Sir Dockmere, I am Amelia Whiteheart. How do you mean that this is our 3rd time?"
The 5 of you have bothered me in my slumber 2, now 3 times.
Amelia kind of looks around at everybody and she's like, "When were these previous times?"
From last I slept to the time before that as well.
If we were not to offer you something for passage, would you bar our way?
I do bar your way, so
Fair.
yes.
I mean, I just figured I'd ask.
Did you destroy these statues?
No, they were like this I believe after the first time I woke up.
What does one such as yourself desire for passage? And what did we leave last time we came through?
I believe.
He kind of looks down at himself. And you see him, like, confused now.
I do not remember. It has been a very long time. But it had to be something. I have many things.
Does not our last offering that we left suffice for us to pass through again?
No, because now I have to move again. It takes a very long time for me to move.
But certainly it was something very much worth your while.
It had to be. I moved.
Well then,
While this is going on, Metolius would like to
I'm trying.
investigate the broken statues.
Sure. Actually, don't investigate them. Roll a religion check.
Okay. Ooh. 19.
19. You are... Okay, so let me ask before you go into deciphering what you see on the ground. Are you all standing on the opposite side of where the fire from this creature? Or
Yes.
have you gotten any closer?
Oh, I think Metolius would have started moving up toward the individual statues.
Okay, so they're kind of spread just across the floor. So you could go... You could stay near your party and decipher probably 2 of them, and there are 2 more closer to him.
I guess I'll stay close to the party and see what I find
Okay.
there, and then move on to the rest of the statues.
I will stay back. I'm not gonna get too close.
If Metolius is walking in, I will slowly walk towards the stone giant, but not in a threatening way. Just like if he's moving off at an angle, I'm just keeping similar tick to how far forward he moves in the room.
And I'm breaking off while the conversation's going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you two are
Yeah.
basically going to either side of the fire, which is in the very center, to kind of search.
Yeah, well, I'm not really searching. I'm just keeping an eye on this guy.
Sure.
Um,
So,
Fair.
If I may ask,
wait.
who? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'd like to follow up with your roll. What did you
Gotcha.
roll?
19.
19. In front of you, you catch what looks like, upon a necklace carved into the stone itself, a triangle with 3 interlocking circles within them, which is Ang Harada, the goddess of wisdom and protection.
The triune goddess.
Yes. That's the first you see. The second Corlun Laurenthian,
Hmm.
god of art, magic. You see a crescent moon upon a pendant that carved into the stone as well. This is a much more male figure than you saw in the other one.
Right.
Also shattered and scattered across the ground.
I'm guessing I would probably know these figures. They
Oh,
seem
yeah.
fairly important.
I think these are elvish deities. You do know them.
I will turn to the party and relay that information.
Okay. What you...
Elven stonework here.
In just looking around, you do notice that one of the heads does seem to be missing, or maybe it's a little too far close to the giant.
Okay.
It's just hard to tell.
In terms of how much damage is done to each statue, are they like still have their human form? Or are they broken down into smaller bits than that? Or
It looks more like you get the like classic like topple over, shatter across, scatter across
okay,
the ground,
got it.
shatter. So it's a lot of smaller pieces.
Got it. Okay.
But like there are big enough pieces to gather which
Right,
statue go into which, and that kind of thing. And they're also in their kind of, I would say, quarters of this room,
Right.
as though they were in the corners of the
Right.
room at one point.
Dlockmere, do any others reside up here other than you?
No, and I'm only here for a moment.
If I may ask, who tends to your fire?
The fire has always been. The fire will always be. Certainly has been here every time I've woken up. It was here when I came in.
Seems arcane in nature.
Amelia's going to step forward a little bit more and say, "Good sir, please, are we the only ones that have woken you up?"
Here, yes. The five of you are the only ones I've seen so far.
And is there anything else you can tell us about the previous times when we were here? So we are very confused, as none of us can recall ever being here before.
He takes a moment to think about it, and you see worry on his face as he kind of like... you see the gears trying to spin, but something doesn't seem to catch as he does, and it just...
No, I don't. I know it was you. I don't know what it was, why it was, when it was.
Well, in that case, what can we offer you to move on? I don't want to disturb your slumber, and there's not a lot of information we can glean from this.
Happy to take anything to adorn.
You like...
Pretty.
Well,
Happily take one of you, if not.
Please, sir, do you know, is there anything that you are blocking our way from that could help us remember why we have been here?
I am blocking a doorway.
To what?
I do not know. I have not looked. It's not my doorway to
Aren't you
open.
curious?
It's the perfect door to lay against. I need nothing more than that.
well, I mean, I have a gold necklace, but it probably would fit your pinky finger.
He kind of looks at you, side-eye.
Let me see.
I actually have a gold necklace that we got from the first orc fort
Yeah.
that we got from. I'll just approach him, just plain as can be, and hold it up.
You kind of see him look at it, and then you see him wave a hand at you, Grimtuck, as you get closer and closer. I would like you, sir,
God damn it.
to roll, I believe, a wisdom saving throw, but let me double check.
Is he,
Charisma saving throw, please.
is he within 10 feet of me?
No. You're on the opposite sides of the room.
12.
12?
He looks at you and goes, I'd rather you be added to the collection. You should come towards me.
And
You feel yourself compelled to do so.
Oh dear.
As your foot starts pushing and moving from below you.
Do we notice that he's in distress?
I don't...
or at least if he waved a hand.
You noticed a hand wave and you heard him. His voice is loud.
It wasn't like
It wasn't a
casting
whisper.
spell, like a...
It seems more like a casting a...
Okay.
Grimtuck, are you alright?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be part of this collection. Seems like a good idea.
What did you do to him?
I took the offer.
Lockmere,
He was not part of the offer.
He offered himself
we need
willingly.
him. Is there something else we could possibly...
Let him go! And I slam my staff on the ground and expend a charge to cast command.
Ooh, okay. What would I...
That's also a wisdom saving throw. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I have it.
Well, mine was charisma.
I'm going to pull out my bow.
I have it prepared.
My shiny new
Oh, maybe
bow.
I don't. You speak a command, a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. They must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the command.
So it is a one-word.
I don't know why everybody's
Well-
getting in an uproar. It's gonna be.
The way
You
I
see
like-
his long arms reach out towards Grimtuck as this is happening.
I think the one-word command can be part of a greater sentence. Like,
Stop.
like
Doing that.
drop
gives
that.
a list of commands you can use.
Those are just suggestions, though.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like the only things you.
So, a wisdom saving throw. It doesn't count as... It's just command. It doesn't count as charmed. It doesn't count as anything like that.
It doesn't say you are charmed.
Cool. Sweet. Then I will make my wisdom saving throw. DC?
16.
He looks back at you and goes, "He offered himself."
And he reaches out towards Grimtuck
Uh,
as he does.
Can I make, or maybe with my earlier, I can make another roll. With my earlier nature check, would I know anything about stone giants that could aid me in this situation? He's like out of place, sort of, but
He
other
seems
than
very... I mean, this whole situation with the stone giant seems very out of place for stone giants. That's why you're not gaining a ton. Minus the fact that it is a stone giant. It's... This whole...
it's so atypical.
It's super atypical. You see him reach out as he does and begins to... His long, chalky fingers reach towards Grimtuck.
He offered you a necklace. He did not offer himself.
Quiet you, if you want to get in.
I am going to fire an arrow at his hand.
Okay, do it.
Me.
I am going to just... I'm not going to use sharpshooter this time. I'm just going to roll.
Okay, go for it.
21.
That hits.
God's got new dice to roll for this.
Are you sticking with the color theme? You are. Nice. All yellow.
Mm-hmm. That is 12 points of piercing... Or sorry, it is 7 points of piercing damage and 5 points of cold damage.
Ooh, yeah. So your arrow flies across with a, and as it does, it sticks into the hand that's reaching out towards Grimtuck, and you see a gout of just this kind of black ichor just start pouring out of the wound, and he screams for an,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just needed a new thing. I apologize. I thought
Release him or I will fire again.
He is released.
Am I released?
Sure.
Treachery!
No, you would have made a wonderful accoutrement.
A what?
Accoutrement.
I don't. What?
Delockmere.
What was that all about?
You would have made a wonderful addition to me.
Is there something that is not a person that we can offer you?
Don't hurt me again and I will let you pass. I'm sorry, I haven't had
I don't
any...
want to hurt you in the first place.
I haven't had anything new in so long.
I'll still throw the gold necklace at him. Be like,
You see him look down at it.
Delockmere, have you seen yourself?
What do you mean?
Do you know what you look like?
Yes? No? What?
So, check this out. And I'm going to reach into my bag and I'm going to pull out this small mirror that's framed with painted wood. And I'm going to walk around the fire and set it down on the ground kind of near him.
You do not have to worry. It hurt very bad. I will not try it on you.
what?
That's good.
I don't even know
But
what
you can
happened.
see this. It might be a little tough for you to pick up, but if you look into it, you will see a vision of yourself.
I know what a mirror is. Elf.
Delightful. This is a mirror. I figured it might entertain you to some degree while you are up here.
And he kind of like reaches down and his arm stretches out long and grabs at the mirror. You see the wood itself start to go from a beautiful painted, like, colored to almost pure white. The mirror stays, but the wood does not.
Oh.
And as he does,
I'm gonna back away.
you see him take his hand and place it just on the back of his hand, and you see the mirror sink into his skin. And he lets go, and he...
Thank you, kind of. I do like this. I enjoy...
As he kind of raises it up to look at himself.
I enjoy knowing where everything is.
Wait, so let me get this straight.
Sure.
He picked up just the mirror, but not the frame.
No, he picked up
No.
the whole thing.
But the frame turned to white, so the
Frame
wood like sucked out any of
Turn to
the.
stone.
Yeah.
maybe.
That almost sucked for me.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes, it did. So, do we have a deal then? Will you get out of our way? Will you move?
Yes, I will move. Thank you for this mirror. I am sorry. I have been asleep for a very long time. I do not know if I am even awake now, but I do like this mirror. I like it very much. Thank you, good elf.
Yes. I hope that it brings you much happiness.
I will move now.
And as he does, he kind of lurches forward. You hear this terrible screeching sound of stone and metal scraping against each other. As he does, you see behind him, almost like the wall is pulled away. As he leans forward, the entire door seems to move with him. And then now you notice as his head bends down, his whole body is interlaced with the metal door, and bits of it are turning that chalky white as well, as though he's slowly absorbing it.
Jesus, thing's cool and creepy, and not a stone giant.
And he
Grim
kind
Tuck
of,
is just like, what the fuck?
as he like leans forward and pulls the door free, he turns to the side, this almost now turtle-like giant, as he kind of like just crawls over to the side and then sits. You hear the second scraping as the metal door scratches against the stone wall. And in front of you now sits an open portal. Not magical, but an open doorway. Black and dark. Now slightly illuminated from your light. But your progress is no longer hindered.
He goes, I will let you in, and as soon as you're done, wake me up again. I would like to sit back to where this door fits better.
Thank you, Dlockmere.
Can I look around and see if these statues look like they were not carved, but instead used to be people who were...
Sure. I'd say then roll a nature check.
Good call.
I would like to continue my investigation to the other statues.
Sure.
Not so good. 8.
They all look like statues to you, sir.
Okay.
Roll another religion
And
check.
I would like to roll a nature check just for my knowledge of stone giants to think if I've ever heard of a stone giant that can do this.
Okay.
Yeah, 20.
Nat 20.
Duh,
The other
critical
two,
fail.
1. You now closer to Dlockmere, and seeing the head that seems to protrude out of his shoulder. The beauty, the elegance of these features, and then the carved amulet below their chin. This one seems to be Maliki.
Okay.
The missing head seems to have formed into his shoulder. The other, on the opposite side, Hanali Selenil. Sorry.
His body
Okay.
ate the statues.
Goddess of love and beauty and life. A carved heart in their pendant is the third that is still all pieces accounted for but spread across the ground.
I just turn to the rest of the party and say, this is elven site some time ago, before Dlockmere got here. Dlockmere, where is the rest of your family? Why are you up here in this mountain and not underground?
I am here because I woke up here. I walked here in my dream. I found my way here. I need not anyone but me.
Can I look around and see if this is if this looks familiar as an elven temple or something
Sure,
like that?
absolutely.
Does this look like it's set up to be an elven temple at one point?
Yeah, roll nature.
Nature?
Yeah. Or nature or history, either one.
Didn't matter.
Cool.
2. Well, the die said 2.
I'll actually give you advantage because of what Matolius said.
Yep.
I'd say you have advantage on the fact that he's calling out elvish deities.
That's much better. So that was nature or religion?
I was going to say nature or history. So whichever one.
Those are all exactly the same. That's
Okay.
18.
That works for me. You do find the finery of the craft, especially on the carvings on the walls and the arches and almost the delicate carvings throughout. You even notice that in these columns there seem to be a spread of carved leaves and flowers into the stonework. And yes, this looks very elvish. Interestingly, within stone and in a mountain, but still elvish in nature.
Metolius just turns excitedly to the group and he pulls out a torch and lights it and he just says, "The unicorn was telling the truth. There is something up here." And he just runs into the darkness. Well, I guess with the lit torch, he excitedly pushes forward.
Bounds forward.
Excitedly runs into the
Yeah.
darkness.
Last time I did that, I got eaten by a bahir. So, just caution.
Nope.
Nope.
I'll follow you.
My flaw is there is no room for caution in the life lived to the fullest.
Mine is I'm a barbarian.
I will give you inspiration for the next 10 minutes in game.
Oh, alright.
I mean, you literally just followed your flaw
Yeah.
and straight fucking forward, and you also just got
I
no.
jumped onto the head of a dragon for a roll.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'll get advantage on hitting on buff babes?
Amelia's going to
Yes.
approach Dlomric and say, "Sir, please, as one last courtesy for that outburst, is there anything you can tell us about our previous times waking you? Anything that looked different about us? Anything that we said?"
No, it was very long ago. I do not remember what we talked of, though I know I moved.
And you don't know how long ago it was?
No, I do not. Time is a concept of mortals like yourself.
The flat circle.
Yes. What?
True detective. Don't worry about it.
Well then, and she's going to turn to head in.
Alright. Following Metolius.
Yep.
Yeah, Rain would follow too.
Oh yeah.
You, before the last of you make it into the darkened portal, you hear a heavy snore and a rumble emanating from the floor as Lockmere seems to have fallen asleep again.
Alright then. Proceed into the darkness.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Metolius, what is it that we're looking for?
Also, what was that thing?
I have no idea.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but I know it's gonna be here. And Metolius is just super, high
So-
and low, and
As you pass in through this archway, you find yourself at the very crest of a long spiral staircase that seems to follow down into the depths of this.
Staircase down.
Staircase down.
Okay.
I still got my light going.
Yeah.
Is there anything does it go up at all, or is
No.
it just okay?
This is seemingly the top of the stairs. But you can look over the side as the banister seems to show just darkness for quite a ways.
Metolius, do you feel that the unicorn will be pleased to see us again?
I don't believe this is where the unicorn dwells. This is just where the unicorn told us to go.
There was a picture of the statue out front, though.
Yes, unicorns have been allied with my goddess for hundreds of thousands of years. A symbol of a unicorn is as much a symbol of the race of unicorns as it is my goddess.
But your goddess is a unicorn.
She is not.
Okay.
She is a great ally to the unicorns. She is not a unicorn. She is a beautiful entity.
I would like to insight check you.
At some point,
Insight check me.
somewhere along the line, something on Dakatur will make sense to me. This will happen.
You're kidding yourself.
I
Let me
mean,
know when
I am
that
telling the
happens.
truth. She's super babely in a godlike way. I mean, that's how I imagine her. But she's also like my second mother, so Napoleon doesn't think of her like
Just gonna
in
say,
an attractive
Oedipus.
way. But she is gorgeous. I don't know what I expect to find, but the unicorn told us to come here, and I have been driven by my patrons to seek out more knowledge.
I mean, we walked all the way here. Yeah, why not? Let's go check it out.
Thank you for coming with me, my friends. It means a lot.
Hey, Amelia, who is your god?
Well, I don't know if I have one.
Oh, fuck.
I
Told you.
Never mind. Fucking never mind.
Just a little blood starts running out of Zarpek's nose.
I don't know if it's a god or not.
Ugh.
It's definitely some thing of higher power than I, but
Like, okay, never mind. You can't just. Who do you pray? You just say like, you wake up in the morning and pray and say, "Hey, you."
I have come to just call it my protector.
But like, just hey, protector. How are you? I don't know how people pray. But I imagine it would be on a first name basis. Fuck, because I've heard Betolius pray. He says Maliki by name. And then I believe it's me, Betolius. And then he fucking tells her about his fucking day. And he says thanks for a million things. Things that I don't even think Maliki did in the first place, but okay. But that's like a first name basis thing, and you don't know the name of your god.
Sorry.
I feel theologically destroyed. I mean, you're not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Amelia, like,
This is
you can't
Grimtuck
really-
trying to come to grips with gods.
You can't really tell because Amelia's wearing her mask, but she's just kind of like dumbfounded for a second after just like ranting, and she's like,
I'm gonna
I
be.
do not know its name. No, as I said, I have just come to call it my protector.
This fucking island. Alright. Anyways.
Believe me, Grimtuck, when you meet a god, you'll know it.
Will I? Be like, hey, you
Yes.
god with no name.
And the
You're
smiling
either-
god looks
you're
down upon
either-
you and laughs.
You're either a giant bug monster, or you don't have a name, or you're some other fucking weird thing on this island that doesn't make. You brought your god with you, so that makes sense. Your god has a name. So far since I've got here, no gods have names.
My god sent me here.
I got that.
I get it.
We all know.
Oh man.
Never
You should
mind.
multi-class into Cavalier.
He's just mad because he's confused. Grimtuck's just gonna be just silently ponder and nosebleed and not understand the
It's
world
like the
around
Incredible
him.
Kind
Hulk.
of like pats you on the shoulder and she's just like, I'm right there with you, buddy. Don't worry.
Nice. Team no god.
I can tell you her god. It is coin.
Yeah, that's one I can relate to. Makes sense.
Yeah, right? Tell
I
me
can praise
about it.
that one.
Fist
Perhaps
bumps,
you are
Rain.
both Perhaps you are both practitioners of the same religion.
Something like that.
Oh, that's funny on a lot of levels. Anyway, torch is out, and I'm looking looking for stonework and clues and stuff. I won't.
Right now, again at the top of the staircase, you see a giant spiral staircase leading down.
I'm going down.
You do notice
Pull out my
as you're
shield.
looking around, you notice that the banister is carved in that same vine work, almost Art Nouveau in its beauty and the softness to the actual carvings.
Yeah, it's Elven. We get it.
Yeah. Yep. That's actually how Art Nouveau started. Is elves came to this world for a moment, for like just a moment.
Yeah, we're pretty badass.
Yeah, I know. Duh, I know this.
I like to call it Elven Art Deco.
Yeah. So it takes a good few minutes, and you feel a sense of just the walls closing in, but not because they actually are. Just like it feels almost claustrophobic here as you get lower and lower, and as you go deeper into the stone, it feels colder and colder. But you also can smell this. The air itself seems not fresh, just slight, as though it has been disturbed. It's not just completely dust-free and like dead, as you would expect from an ancient ruin that seemingly would not have been touched.
Can we look for tracks?
You can, if you wish. There is light. There is
Survival?
torches. Investigation for tracks, especially if you're looking for human tracks and not trying to hunt.
Well, I'm just looking for anything that may have come through this direction or anything that disturbed it.
Do investigation for me still.
Damn you.
Sorry, dude. It's a different kind of thing.
14.
Not bad, not bad.
It's not-
It doesn't look as though dust has settled, so it's hard to kind of pick up if anything had walked before. I mean, the one thing you could tell is either the stone giant had a hissy fit and broke shit, or someone did. I mean, there's no other evidence of that same fact.
But there doesn't look like anybody had shuffled through here recently.
Not recently.
Okay.
But a few moments later, probably about 10 minutes of walking continually down a deep spiral staircase, you find yourself standing in front of two large oaken doors. On them is carved a unicorn, almost wrapped around a gigantic tree, one seemingly full of life. Not like car wrapped around, but like standing behind. And upon that, above it, sits, especially with Metolius in the front, a very familiar symbol hangs high above the doorway. One of the sun, the moon, and a sword.
It's the one that we've been seeing all over the place?
Mm-hmm. One that you saw outside this ruins, now one that you saw here. And Metolius, you stand in front of a door. Old, seemingly a wood of some nature. Two large poles on either side seem to be the way.
And wait, where's the symbol on the door?
Above in the archway.
Okay, gotcha.
It's carved stone, while the door itself is wood.
Got it.
The door has the tree unicorn
Mhm.
artwork. Okay.
Split damn near down the middle.
Okay. Is there like handles or something?
There are. That's what I'm saying. The
yeah.
poles, the handles seem to be set up.
Poles.
Yeah, sorry. They seem to be set on either side of the
Got it.
dead center of the door. There does seem to be sconces for torches on either side, as though maybe torches once were set in here when this was used.
Okay.
Is there any? Can we hear anything from behind the door?
You can always check.
All right. Also looking for like if I can feel like wind rushing through the crack of the door or something like that.
Okay, all perception. That's fine.
Perception
Yeah.
at the door.
Let's do perception at the door.
18.
18. No, the air is still. No sounds seem to be emanating from behind the door.
Is the area we're moving through, like, towards this door, like, hallway-like? Or is it more open?
It's probably like maybe 20 feet from the end of the staircase to the door itself.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
And it seems to be maybe 30 feet wide.
All right, I want to at least, like,
Doorway's
do, like,
10.
a quick, like, look around to see if I see anything that could be, like...
Saying, are you looking for traps?
Yeah, kind of. But, like, more so... I think I'm less suspicious of traps being here, but I'm looking for, like, hidden doors or,
Okay.
like...
Investigation.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, one way or another, it'd be investigation in that sense.
Not Great. 13?
13?
Yeah.
You spy no seemingly hidden doors.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to be jumping out at you as traps
Okay.
at all. You feel as though it's good to go. It
Okay.
doesn't need, like, yeah.
Okay, that's all.
The room is still silent and solid.
Metolius will reach up and grab the pole and pull.
Okay. An amount of dust and sand does seem to fall as the old door creaks open. A large, low, almost cracking sound. As you pull wide this doorway, leading into an oddly circular room, as though the walls almost carved in this soft curve up to the ceiling, and then bow out in this circular shape. The center seems to be housed, from the quick torchlight you can see just opening the door, there seems to be something almost of a pedestal of some nature in the dead center. And then around it seems to be another form of a statuary standing over it. But again, that's the quick look you get just opening one door. So feel free to do any perception checks, do any walking-ins if you wish.
I walk right in.
Okay.
I immediately follow up the open door with walking in.
Okay. Walking straight in to the room, torch held high, nothing occurs. But instead, your torchlight illuminates many things to you, Metolius. On all of these curved walls that arch to the ceiling seems to be some form of painting or mural on every single section. And that seems to wrap the entire room. And the room's big. It's like 50 feet wide.
Definitely perception on any parts of
I'll
these.
get there.
Yeah.
As you continue walking, you also notice the glint of metal scattered upon the ground about 30 feet into the room, sitting in front of that pedestal. It's hard to tell exactly right where you are as you walk in, but you can see like something metallic shining at your torchlight. And then you see once again the symbol of your god standing as though the protector of whatever this pedestal was. Equine shape, but the head removed. No longer the full unicorn, possibly, that the statue was. Now decapitated.
With my dark vision, can I see what the pile of glinting metal is from here?
I think everyone has dark vision. Yeah, roll a perception check.
Okay, cool.
You can too, Metolius. You're front of the line if you'd like.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. 8. That's not bad. Oh no, 7. 7.
It's hard to tell from where you are, as you are a little bit farther back from Metolius, as he was very excited and went in.
Fair.
Super excited. 16.
Super excited. It looks like shattered weaponry, swords, almost, scattered across the ground.
Shattered, you said?
Yes. Like the chains.
Like the chains.
Like the chains.
Why?
The Shattered Sword Tribe.
Yes.
Different story.
Whole different thing. They're not even mostly barbarians.
Those guys are assholes.
They are assholes though.
But what about the Shattered Axe Tribe?
They're okay. I gotta admit.
You got that like
What about
peaceful,
the Golden Axe Tribe?
Super bougie.
but like very old school in their ways.
They're strangely open to you asking questions.
They have a full monetary system on quarters. It's weird.
It's nuts. It's just nuts. Real trope. A lot of tropes.
Yeah. No. A lot of pots being thrown up in the air. It's
Yeah.
weird.
So I'm following
Sure.
Metolius. I would like to again investigate them. Does it look like wear, or does it look like these were like violently broken?
Ooh. Okay.
Good question.
I was.
Would you like to help each other do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Who would like to be the one helming, and who would like to be the one advantaging?
He.
I will probably. I will helm. I think.
Because he's better at the
I
smaller
got-
details.
I got smartses.
Are there other torch sconces in here? That
There are.
They have any
They-
old torches in them still?
They seem to, as you look around, you see torches left dead and old in the sconces.
My helping will be to light all the torches.
I like it. That's good flavor. That's
fully
good.
illuminate
This is
the
good
room.
flavor.
Which is, if you guys are doing that, I'll just do the circuit on the paintings.
I still have my light on.
All right,
Yeah.
totally.
For the,
So,
for some
and
reason,
Rain, you
Grimtech
fallen
lights
into?
It's like CSI. Up in
For
here.
some reason.
It's valuable.
CSI Decatur.
Get the floodlights in here.
I
Who's
think
got
like
the fingerprint kit?
the second the
Who's got the
room's,
sunglasses?
like, illuminated, I think Rain would probably like start glancing around for anything that seems valuable.
Of course.
Okay.
So anything that seems valuable that she doesn't think Metolius would be offended for me taking.
I was just about to say.
Like,
Got it. So let's start the looking around initiative, kind of. So let's start with the elf boys.
So I'm getting advantage from him. Is this
You are,
Yeah, great.
because he lit the sconces, which now you all see very well of what looks around.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Not bad.
And you were looking to see if they looked like
I wanted to know if these were like
forcibly
if a
so.
stone giant stepped on these
Okay.
swords, or if they just like fell off because their holsters rotted away or something like that.
So you see two interesting things. One, a collected amount of pieces look as though you see two swords shattered upon the ground. On the pedestal, where you look to see, as your second point of interest, to see if you could tell if something fell off, something broke, there seems to be the recesses of 3 swords.
Okay, and I only see the remains of 2 swords.
Yes.
The third one is just missing.
Missing. Well, you also, you're assuming as such at the moment, with as much as you can tell.
I do not see it.
You do not see it, so it's obviously gone.
Yeah.
You see a few things within the crushed weaponry. You see these swords look very finely made. At one point, they may have been exquisite weapons, ones that may never tarnish, ones that may never rust, but these do not hold that. These seem to wear with age. These seem to, when in their breaking, seem to have slowly but surely decayed almost, or at least oxidized, if you want to go with that. You also notice 2 what look like the remnants of gemstones laid, just kind of scattered throughout these metal pieces, but only 2 colors. The first you see of these 2 stones seems to be, what you can tell, aquamarine. The second, spinel. Both of them almost shattered to dust.
And these were in something, or just like free?
Let's continue your investigation in a sec. That's a lot of information you just got there. But we will go back to you as we go to the next. What are you rolling?
I'm just looking at paintings. I want to see if I can put together whatever the story is of these.
Okay.
And that's perception?
Yep.
That's not bad. That is a dirty 20.
A dirty 20?
Yes.
You see many, these paintings oddly branch through many different things. The first sits,
Grimtech's just excited to get a picture book. So.
you literally take it piece by piece. You can tell that taking a quick left from the doorway seems to be the very first of these murals. And in that, the very first sits odd. It looks as though a land, just a prairie almost, and high in the sky sits this oddly, the color is fading, but it looks like a blue comet sits high in the night sky over this prairie. The next is a second with, instead of that same comet high up in the air, you see what looks like an explosion ripping asunder the land that you had previously seen. You then see, from the wreckage of the land, you see ice start to branch out as though it's growing across. And then something very familiar to all of you, though Grimtuck is the one paying the most attention, pulls itself out of the crater. An odd, mantis-like, bulbous, fleshy creature with 4 glowing eyes rears its clawed arms for what seems to be the first time.
Hey, everybody. You guys might want to see this.
The next,
Kind of bring everybody around if I can.
at the 4th panel, you see armies of clawed and scythed creatures running from the beast, as though emanating out of it, as now it sits upon a throne of ice, high above the land. And then Grimtuck calls you all over.
Everybody, this seems like a pretty familiar story being played out in this painting.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, that's the giant mantis monster, ice apocalypse thing.
We do have a way with words.
Yeah, I know.
I do love the
Super
alliteration.
good. And,
He's definitely the poet of the group.
Yeah, it's. I want to see where this story goes, but look, we dreamed this.
I remember.
Elduin, is that the thing you were asking me about?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
What is it?
guy at the orphanage had a statue of this in his basement, and he was sacrificing kids for it for some reason.
Carving its symbols into his flesh.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue down the.
Sure.
Yep, I'll follow.
As you all, are you all gathering around now? If I would like to say, pause, Rain. You would like to roll
That would
your.
be the perfect time to steal.
It's
Yes,
actually
please.
true. Everyone's kind of.
Distracted.
Am I rolling investigation for
You're
this?
rolling investigation.
Okay, cool.
You fucking snake.
15.
15.
I said that wouldn't offend Betolius for taking.
Nothing around.
I
I'm not
care.
paying attention, so-
Yeah, nothing around the pedestal or the statue seem to be worth. Even the pieces of metal, all oxidized and
Yeah,
rusting.
yeah.
The gems, what have you, shattered. Nothing.
Okay.
You do notice something.
Hmm.
The statue, where the head is cleaved, is hollow. And that, I would say, out of all the things you've seen, that definitely sticks out to you.
Okay, I mean, I guess I would further investigate that then.
Okay? As they continue, we will continue with you after.
Okay.
So, we continue. The next panel. As this horde of unspeakable horrors travels across the land, as ice starts to grow and overtake green, a shining beacon of hope is shown as a force, small now, stands at the far end of this painting, seemingly against the terror. And above them sits that symbol, the moon, the sword, the sun. Next, the creature follows its horde into battle, its claws reaching towards these warriors. Now, very visible, 9 of them stand, all rising and staying high above the land. These 9 heft a blade in each of their hands, and though, as I said, washed out the color is, each sword is crested with a different colored pommel.
Aha! And do 2 of those pommels look like aquamarine and spinel?
They do.
And what does the third one look like?
There's 9 of them.
Oh, there's 9 of them?
There's 9.
Yeah, oh, I missed that. I thought there were 3 anyways.
No, there's 3. There's 3 in the very center of the room.
Yeah. Okay.
There's 9 in the painting.
Got it.
What other colors are there?
You also see lots of different colors, guys.
About 9 of them.
Don't
Yeah.
take your time. Take that
Hell yeah,
notes.
no takings.
I mean, for us.
This is
Oh, I know.
Eldar taste the rainbow right now.
So, you see an emerald.
Hey, yo.
You see what can be construed as a jet, an amethyst, a tourmaline, a topaz, a peridot, an aquamarine, a garnet, and a spinel.
And now these are the pommels of the sword. There's like a gem
So-
fixed to them.
Yeah, in the pommel of the sword, there seems to be, and the glowing isn't actually glowing in the painting. There seems to be more of a radiance coming off of each of the ends of the swords.
I'm going to pull out the rusty sword that I have with the empty socket
Yeah.
in it and see if I can tell any type of resemblance to either that or what's in the middle of the room.
Roll an intelligence check for me.
Not good.
I'll give you, actually, no. Again, I will give you advantage because you have the other sword.
Okay.
Let's try.
That's still not great. I got a 5.
5.
Yeah.
I will say, though it may not click against the wall, these do seem very similar to what is broken upon the ground. The lack, though this one is old and rusty, the ones on the ground don't seem as old in their make. Like the oxidation doesn't seem to have taken over as strong. Next, the 9 stand upon a plateau high above these creatures of these aberrations that are just mealing over each other, trying to get at them. But they stand, and as they hold themselves together, 9 swords crossed, a light glows. And from under their feet, you notice the ice has receded. At the second to last one, you see the 9 now off their pedestal on the field. Around them sits bodies of these creatures. The gigantic monster that once led these others seems to be moving backwards, being pushed back by the glow that these beings hold. And finally, you see the 9 now carved in much, I would say, greater detail, but only for the fact that the figures are larger, though their features are not defined. Their swords are. They stand together on this final panel. Their gems glow, and what almost looks like a warmth emanates from them as there is no ice on that final panel. And that finishes on the right side of the door. And now, as you guys continue around, as you enjoy the museum, I would like to turn it back to Rain.
So what's up with the statue?
What is up with the statue? You should roll investigation for me.
9.
9.
Yeah.
I'm not having much luck with these replacement dice myself.
As you look at the statue, it's hard to tell, though I would say you continue to notice that there is a slight seam along the very chest and center mass of this statue, as though it was maybe pieced together, is as much as your investigation can tell. I would say you can continue down the statue and look again. You could ask for help if you wish, but it's hard to piece what you are looking at.
Okay, I mean, I think at this point I'd actually probably call Metolius over.
Sure. I think at this point you don't see anything that you wanted to just like pocket.
Yeah, totally. I'm not gonna I call you over and I show you the hollow cavity. I show you the seam down the statue and ask what you make of it.
So you can roll investigation if you wish, and have a you still have your inspiration.
It's true, I do.
At least for a little bit. I would say it started at the bottom of the stairs. Which
Can
would
we
give you time.
consider me helping since I pointed out everything I saw to him?
Yeah.
I'm giving you
Are you
advantage.
better at investigation?
+6.
Yeah, I'll help her.
All right.
Okay.
You got it.
So you two kind of look over this statue. You also now, looking very closely, find the
There we
crumbled
go.
remains of the head
19.
left scattered into the corner. 19?
Yes. Finally rolled something good.
You actually, so you and Matoli is looking over this statue. You take just a dagger and kind of run it along the seam. And then as you're kind of slowly but surely going, you find a moment where your dagger catches. And that takes your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then with a little brush of your hand and a little use of the edge, the very finest tip of the dagger, you're able to define what looks like a hatch on the... If any of you have ever seen the bronze bull, the old torture device, kind of like that, where at the side opposite to the door of this statue, there seems to be an odd, hatch-like structure. A door. And
I kind of
you
look at Metolius.
you notice a fine, slight hole, an indent, about 3 inches down from the lip of said door.
An indent?
Like a keyhole.
Oh.
Just a little bit worn with age.
I'll pull out my question mark key.
Ooh. I would like you to roll for that.
All right, how does it work again?
It's a 5%.
5%?
It's a 5% chance to roll a D100.
Okay.
We're going high or low?
I would. Ooh, that is a good.
0 to 5 or 95 to 100?
I will give you the option of, but from this point on, this will be the roll you have to make. So 0 to 5 or 95 to 100.
I'll say 0 to 5.
Okay.
Nice. I like low.
I like it too.
Low is good. Low is a go.
Nope. 90.
The key actually does.
At 95.
Yeah,
Sure.
right?
That would have been
The
heartbreaking.
key actually does seem to press through a bit of age and silt and sand that seem to have collected. Dust. But now you notice, as you pull the key back out, a keyhole sits.
Okay, well, now that I tried that, I'll actually just try picking the lock.
Sounds good.
While she's doing that, can I look at the cut off head part?
Yeah.
And can I determine, is it like a rough break or a smooth break?
Investigation, please.
I will use my inspiration.
Okay.
Sleight of hand, right?
13.
13. It's proficiency.
It's your proficiency bonus plus your dex mod.
Okay, gotcha.
Unless
Thank
you
you,
have
Tolius.
expertise, then
Yeah, it is.
It is a very surprisingly clean cut. It is not a rough break.
I rolled a 4, but that makes it a 16.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wow. Though a little bit of an ache and a groan, the mechanism, the lock,
that's that expertise.
yeah,
Right?
clicks and tinks into place. Just a swift movement of your wrist and your lockpicks find its purchase and turn, unlocking the door. You feel the door release in your hands. You actually have to hold it for a moment as you let it down.
Which I will do gently.
Yes. Inside, you find covered in a slight film of stone dust. You find what looks like a velvet pillow, and on it a scroll that almost looks sealed with that same symbol.
I would take it out and hand it to Metolius,
Okay.
is what I would do. Because I don't know what this is. I don't fuck with the shit.
Take the pillow.
Take the pillow! The pillow falls to dust.
Yeah. I break the seal as carefully as possible, and I unroll this.
Oh, and as I hand it to you, I say, I have a feeling this was probably meant for you.
Spell of fireballs, it explodes. No. Fuck. Reroll everybody.
Yeah.
Dear pen pal, I have got your letters. Thank you for
So
writing.
I will open the scroll.
It's not very long, but what it is, the ink almost glows in a golden sheen. The paper itself seems to hold a quality of magic as it is not degraded. It looks as pristine as it did when it was penned.
Okay.
And the words read as such. Swords of power forged by the sun's fire and moon's light, hilts set with 9 gems, gifted with Corellin's Eldrith's might, a council of 9 versed in arcane and blade, stood together as one against those who would harm and ruin Maliki's vast realm. 3 did fall to the father's corruption, the Scather, its blood-red garnet shining bright, the back talker, with jet as black as night, the Squelcher, the purple Spinel, flashing with malevolent light. That's it. That's the end.
What language was that written in?
Elvish.
Well, this is certainly important. Do you all remember that poem in the crypt? That verse on the wall? This is sort of written in the same sort of way.
What is that? Can I read it?
I've handed over.
Shall I do a redo of the first verse with the second?
Yeah.
Warriors are we, blessed by Maliki's great light, sworn to protect all against the terrors of night. Here in the twilight's hour we make our stand to keep the frigid darkness from spreading across the land. And then follows into this verse.
So what you just read was in the tomb.
In the crypt.
What can I tell about this from an arcane perspective? Like, is this?
You could roll Arcana if you wish.
Okay, I want to know what is keeping this scroll pristine?
Sure.
That's a 25.
Damn. I would say what you can tell, it doesn't seem to be any particular amount of spell. It almost feels like an infused ink seems to garner an ever living paper, just one that will never break down, as though these words are too important.
Spell scroll, maybe?
There doesn't seem to be any form of...
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a spell scroll.
No.
I think, well, this speaks of 9, and there are 9 on the wall. Clearly some sort of warriors.
And there are 3, well, slots for swords, but only 2 appear to have their remains here.
I mean, I have one I got from the crypt and tossed it to Elduin.
Remind me, was that an actual sword or was that...
Sword hilt.
It was just sort of the hilt with the socket.
And the socket was
Empty.
Empty.
And, sorry, we were talking about this earlier. The gems that are on the ground have been removed from the sockets, or are they still in the sockets, kind of, but...
Oh, they've been shattered. They don't sit in the sockets anymore, but they may have it. There is a place for them in each of the hilts of the sword.
I wasn't sure if there were, like, remnants of each gem in the socket.
No, whatever happened here seemed to have removed them from the sword itself.
Got it, okay. I'm concerned if these are truly blessed swords, as in this writing, then it must be some great power that destroyed them.
Yes, I would agree.
Is there any evidence of, like, corruption in this room?
Corruption? In this room?
Does something look like it has been tainted? Does something look like it has been burned? Does something look...
Aside from the head cut off the statue?
I mean... Yeah, there's that.
And the 4... I would say the main things you've seen as you've been in here were the 4 gods/goddesses shattered and the decapitated unicorn. But other than that, other than the shattered swords, there isn't really anything of note in the way of corruption.
Okay.
I wish there was more information, but this is something at least.
Yeah,
I wonder if there are any local scholars who might know more about
we
this.
walked all the way up here for weird fables and paintings and poetry.
Is this the end of the road? Is there like a door on the far side of them?
This is it.
Is the paintings continue in any fashion, or
They wrap the room, right?
they end at that last panel you described?
Yeah, that,
Yeah, they
like,
go
that
door
went
to
all the way
door.
back to the other side of the doorway.
Yeah, we
Like,
walked
it
the
went
whole
around the
circle.
room.
Could I want to investigate and see if any of these paintings look if I'm looking for secret doors. If any of the paintings have look like they might be a door, or there's like something behind them.
Roll investigation.
I would like to look for other sources of information, like books and scrolls.
Okay. Also roll investigation.
16.
16.
Metolius just like starts tearing through whatever it is around
Yeah.
because he's like, there's got to be more information somewhere. Non-natural 20.
Eldwin, you case the room and find no other doors. Just this oddly specific mural, this weirdly destroyed statue that held these words and these swords that litter the ground. Metolius, you don't find any other books, no anything.
We should put our gem in one of those sword slots and see if it fits.
Well, the sword is ruined, right? It's shattered.
But the pommel's still there, just to see if it fits.
It might.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay, Oh, you have the gem. I would have to
Oh, okay. I grabbed the gem out.
hand it to me, or
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'll take and try and place it in the pommel of one of the broken swords.
Okay. It doesn't seem to set in.
Hand it back.
Put it back.
Worth a shot.
And you have
Once-
just revealed it to every single person. No.
But it did reveal it to Amelia.
Oh, that's true. Hey, you saw a gem.
We told you about it though.
Yes.
Yeah. So once Amelia sees Metolius take off and start tearing through things, she wants to pull out her book and find a place to sit down and start casting the ritual for detect magic.
Detect magic?
Yes.
Okay. Go for it.
While he is doing that, I'm going to walk over to a corner. I'm still holding this scroll, and I'm going to sort of quietly mutter a blessing, and I'm going to say, Corellin, as your faithful, I see that your presence was once here. I would love to know what has transpired. What happened here? Please tell me.
Just asking your god.
Not necessarily expecting a response right away, but
Sure.
like
Roll a religion check.
15.
15? You speak your words, and the room kind of stays as silent as everyone keeps looking around. You notice a bit of breeze catches up some of the dust, and as it does, it seems to spin around the mantis-like creature on the wall, just for a moment, as though it's like framing it. But a moment later, it falls as though it could have easily just been a gust of wind.
Okay.
Frustrated with his lack of finding anything, Metolius was just going to stand up and say, we need to find out what that thing is. And he points up to the bulbous thing that fell from the sky.
The what?
Didn't the scroll call it by something? Say that there was something that they were defending against?
Scroll says, cast an versus an arcane blade.
So they said they defended against a insert word here.
I think
They
that's the first.
they talked about the father's corruption in the in the scroll.
The father's correct.
Yes, and then the frigid darkness is what they kept from spreading across the land. But the twilight hour we make our stand is what the standing was.
Is this a mural that wraps, or is it a painting? that wraps the room? Like, is it on like are there like framed paintings?
No, it's more of a mural.
Okay.
It's painted
on
into the wall.
I was gonna say, we'll just cut down that guy and
No.
put him in a bag and show people and be like, hey, you know what this is?
You do have a
Have you
very
seen
skilled
this-
artist in it.
Thing?
This behemoth.
So I'm going to turn to Metolius and say, Metolius, is your translation of this the same as mine? Does this refer to this as the father's corruption?
That's the way I read it.
Is it also not wrong that the gem that we were sent to seek out, was it not referred to as father's left eye?
Yes, that would be correct, sir.
Interesting.
I see where you're going with this.
I don't.
Wasn't the red gem the left eye?
I believe that the green gem was the left eye.
Ah,
The emerald, yes. That's the one that I have, is the emerald.
and the other one was the right eye. The red one.
Well, I don't think we ever knew that, but
But this thing has 4 eyes.
Wait. I thought we cast Identify on it.
we did. That's why I know it's father's left eye.
Oh, I thought we cast Identify on the first one.
Did we? I don't remember.
Yeah, we did because I asked
Yeah.
Cassandra about it to
You
her
have
face.
it written in. Yeah, you have it written in your notes.
Other notebook.
Yeah.
Your other notebook.
No, I asked her about it to her face, why it was called that.
Okay.
What did she say?
I don't remember the answer.
Okay. That was a while ago.
It was a while ago. A
while
lot's
ago.
happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's come
It's
out as
probably a
evil.
lie
And
anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
Right. For real though.
Ah. We must find out what this creature is and what this group, what became of them. I mean, the scroll seems to indicate that this father figure of sorts has a corrupting influence.
Well,
And there were 3 swords here, I believe, and now there's only the wreckage of 2. So where's the 3rd?
so would you recommend we turn around and leave and go search out other answers?
I think this is what we came to find. I've scoured this room. I can't find anything else. I mean, do you all have any other suggestions?
Nope.
I would say at this point, Amelia is, as you all are conversating, and your ritual finishes. Are you just sitting in the center of the room next to anything? Or where are you sitting?
I just found like a place to sit down, and then once I cast it, I'm
Okay.
gonna start to like walk around the room.
Okay. So you get a nice little hum from the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to just be just some form of, almost in a way, the elemental magics that you don't know yet, but know of in the gems, as it just keeps the scroll itself just pristine. You get a very slight hint off of the wreckage of the blades, but the magics there have faded and are long since gone.
Okay.
And everywhere else just feels more as though attuned towards magic, not one specific, almost like the earth itself kind of holds this place and cradles it.
The magic that's residual on the swords, can I tell what kind of magic it is?
Sword magic. Give me a second.
I believe you would enchant the sword.
Yeah, enchantment magic.
Enchantment?
Yeah.
After seeing the magic on them, I'm gonna approach Metolius and say, didn't that say something about the 3 falling to the corruption?
Yes, it did.
She points at the broken gemstones on the ground. Are these not 2 of the colors of the 3 that fell?
The poem says,
I know it mentioned the spinel.
yes, it mentioned a jet too. And I look down, and it's
Yes. You look down and you see what does look like the spinel, but the jet is not there.
Was the aquamarine was the other one? That was
The aquamarine was the other one, but that is not one that is talked about in the poem.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we should go ask the stone guy again, because he said we've been through here before. Maybe we broke him.
But that doesn't make any sense, Grandpa.
I mean, it didn't make sense when he said that we've been here before.
That does not make sense.
Exactly. So,
How is that
I
possible?
would not operate under the assumption that he knows what he's talking about.
I mean, we don't know what we're talking about. This whole thing's confusing. I don't know. I'm lost. I mean, I guess we learned something from this. We learned that there's these guys with these stones, and that's how they beat back these giant bug armies. And that's something, I guess. I just imagine we would have had something more tangible from being here.
True.
I mean, we have broken swords. There's paint, there's a mural. All of the statues are beheaded.
I think there's a lot of information we gained here that's going to be much more significant later.
So, should we leave?
I think what we can't make sense of now, we'll make sense of at some point.
I agree. I think we came what we were sent here to.
Yeah,
We came,
like,
we
I feel
found
like
what
if-
we were sent here to find.
Exactly. It feels like kind of a lost cause right now, but I don't think it is. I think this is something we're going to need later.
Alright.
This is not the first time we've seen this giant creature. And
Yeah.
Or the
It's-
symbol with the moon and the sword.
It's just another puzzle piece.
Mm-hmm.
we just have to put it together.
Yep.
The elvish sword symbol, those seem to have been the people aligned against them this entire time. If we also find out wherever they originate from, I imagine we'll get more answers.
That's true.
There was the one crypt, but that's too small to house an entire army of heroes who beat back this malevolent evil.
Yes, if there was such an organization, they would have some sort of base of operations, and I imagine.
I feel that they're probably just as dead as all of these other things. We're probably just going to find bones and dust. And maybe something that will help us along the way.
Maybe we'll find one of those swords that hasn't been destroyed.
Or more gems.
Well,
They seem to be the key to stopping all of this.
that's true.
Either way, we should be off.
If they were the key to stopping it, that might be explain why Cassandra wanted them. Yes, let's be off.
Then what is our next move?
I think I'm going to take this scroll with us,
Oh, you should.
and I'm putting it into the bag of holding.
Okay. Write down scroll, Calderan scroll.
I mean, Lady Cassandra's father, she told us where he supposedly rests. If he's asleep, and he's as evil as she is, now might be a good time to strike, before he wakes.
She said he was ill.
All the better.
Didn't the unicorn say to seek it out?
Seek it out here, though.
No.
Pointed us towards the mountain.
There were 2 locations that we were indicated to go to.
Oh, that's right.
We were supposed to go to.
The coast, wasn't it the coast?
Yes. Yes, we're supposed to head east.
Beach trip.
I wasn't there.
Well, then, yeah, let's go there
Well,
instead.
yeah, we're on the west.
we could possibly
right? We're at that.
Recollect a more accurate
You're here.
description
Yeah.
of what went on, right?
This is where Cassandra is,
Yeah.
and you've been traveling this
I
way.
thought we were supposed to go west to get to the big beach.
We are supposed to go west.
Yeah. But we stopped at the mountain.
Wait, where was Cassandra again?
Cassandra's over here.
Okay.
Amelia, what beach did you wash up on?
It was on the coast north of here.
North of here, I see.
Well, I say let's go to the coast.
Yes, we need to head that way. And Metolius will pull out the map, and there are the names of towns
Yeah,
on it.
the main cities are labeled.
And is the city on the? Is there something? There's a city on the coast.
There's 2. So there's Aldkeep and Moor Beach are the closest 2 cities to you. Aldkeep is straight across, but into the desert, so you'd have to go a little northwestern. Moor Beach, on the other hand, is at the lower kind of tail of the island, which would effectively be closer to where you are and easier to get to, as you don't have to transverse over the mountain and past.
If I recall correctly, the unicorn said that we were supposed to go to Sintarn.
Mm-hmm. Sintar.
Sintarn? Tarn or Tar?
Sintar.
Sintar.
Should we rest up here before we depart?
We could,
I'm fine.
we could
but-
descend the mountain and rest after we get back on the trail.
I mean, this would be the safer spot to rest anywhere.
Alright.
the mountain.
You make a good case. There's only the giant up here.
Mm-hmm. And anybody who have to get by is going to have a long-winded conversation about giving him things.
It's true.
So
It's a really good point.
Maybe we should leave and camp outside instead of let him return to his space.
I mean, he's going to be there sleeping when we leave or not.
All right, let's
Yeah.
just make camp here.
I mean, maybe we'll figure something out in here in the meanwhile.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Any reason?
No, just a feeling.
Well then, if we're here to camp here to stay for the night, MacLeod will just walk down his pack and pull out his bedroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
And Grimtuck will just lay on the ground.
Word. I mean, at that point, all of you decide to take a sleep.
Sleep.
I suppose so.
Is anyone going to take watch?
I'm going to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a watch too, whatever.
Yeah, Amelia was going to volunteer.
Okay.
It's pretty easy when there's just one door.
It's true.
Uh,
And a long
I am
staircase to
going
hear people on.
Go up to the door and begin the ritual for alarm.
Okay, sure. You take a moment. You set it up. It's alarmed. Who would like to take first watch?
I will.
Okay. So as everyone starts to lay down, does anyone want to say anything before watches begin? Anyone want to do anything?
Quiet contemplation time.
Your heads down on your desks.
Figure out what the gods want you to do, damn it.
Yeah. Rain, can you remind me of what you told me last episode about your past?
About my past.
Because I wanted to comment on it, and I
That's fair.
just need a reminder.
That I was an assassin in Neverwinter. That I tried killing someone very important and failed. And that I am wanted, more or less,
Okay.
in that aspect. And so I ran and got on a ship, and that's what brought me here.
Was it like misinformation that you you tried to kill the wrong person, or you just tried to kill someone and failed?
I tried to kill someone and failed in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just realized you're Jason Bourne.
And that I think I also did mention that it felt like a setup. That
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That it wasn't so much as my abilities failed me. It felt more like I was set up.
The
and,
game was against you the
yeah,
whole time.
exactly.
Okay, got it. Totally.
Yeah.
The deadliest game.
Mhm.
Metolius will approach Rain and he will just offer her a drink from one of these bottles of brandy that he has.
Oh, and I will happily accept.
And he says, if someone is after you and if you were set up, then I will help you bring them to justice. Regardless of what you did in your past life, you didn't deserve to be betrayed if you were a loyal vassal. And
Sure was.
if you choose to redeem yourself, I can teach you in the ways of the Order of the Holy Warriors.
Or if you want to be a pirate, you can do that too.
There is always
It's true.
piracy to fall back on.
Always piracy to fall back
yeah,
on.
always piracy.
Just know that you can earn your redemption. Just don't be hasty about it.
I really appreciate that, Metolius.
You have an ally in me, and I believe you have an ally in all of us.
Here, here.
And you have an ally in me as well. I didn't know what to expect when the truth came out, and the fact that we're still here, and I'm still here, and everything's fine it means a lot. And I really appreciate it.
Well, clearly, we're all here to look out for each other.
Yeah. When that happened, I lost the only people I thought I could trust, and it turned out I couldn't trust them. So,
Well, I think you can trust us.
thank you.
Okay,
And I take a big swig.
sweet.
And we pass it to Amelia. And I say, you too, even though you just joined us, you can trust me. And you can trust the rest of us to watch your back. And clearly you were sent here to watch ours, so...
That I was. And Amelia's gonna, like, push her mask up onto the top of her head, and she'll take a drink. Pass the bottle back.
Okay.
I pass it around, so it's gone.
Sweet.
Yep.
I say that at this point we do watches. So Grimtuck first. Who's second?
I'll take the last
4 hours.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take second.
Amelia, then Elwyn. Okay, so Grimtuck. Perception check.
That is 21.
21.
Mhm.
The night goes without a hitch for you. Nothing sounds. You hear the snoring and rumble from the giant above, but no one else.
I mostly just spend the time watching the door and studying my glass eye.
Doesn't seem to move this time.
It's fine. Still just occasionally pulls it out of his pocket and is like...
Okay.
So like, get a bead on it. Like he tries to surprise it into looking at him and, you know.
Ha!
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 Just trying to see what I can
What
do.
are you doing?
Yeah, I got you.
With the glass eye.
Yeah.
Okay, your shift's over. It's Amelia's turn.
Nap time.
Amelia, roll a perception check, please.
13.
Same with you. Now there are two very heavy snoring creatures in the area as Grimtuck falls asleep.
Sleep apnea, and it's very serious.
Yeah, so while I'm on watch,
He
I
had to
just
leave
kinda
his CPAP
sit with
machine
my,
home.
Staff in my lap and read out of my book.
Okay. Nothing seems to come of it. And your watch finishes. Elduin. I would say one final perception before the day begins.
Natural 1.
To your knowledge, nothing seems to come of it. Though you are very distracted by the amount of snoring going on. And the fact that Grimtuck seems to not be breathing half the time. It's a thing.
I just I make a motion towards him a few times before he starts breathing.
Yeah.
It's like stops breathing, and I kind of like
Just
shift
rub his
over
tummy.
towards him and then-
Starts
Pull 'em on
breathing.
the side.
Yeah. As you all awake and the day begins, you all are level 9.
push the level up button.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, shit.
So you all wake up seemingly unburdened by any attacks. The giant still snores above you. And the day you all had quite a very restful sleep here. There's a peace about this area, these ruins. And it seemed to permeate through your sleeps. No dreams, no nightmares, just restful sleep. And a level up. Hey. But yeah, you find yourself at the top of a mountain in the midst of ancient ruins that are still leaving themselves far out of your grasp at exactly what they are. What do you do?
Leave.
Leave.
Yeah.
Or descend the mountain
Yep.
and head towards Moor Beach
Okay. So
in the southwest coast
awesome.
I'm in.
of Dakatu.
It doesn't take very long for you all to make your way down, and you pass by the giant, waking him up one last time to let him sink back into place. You float/swim back across. You, utilizing your high vantage point, you're able to kind of rappel your way back down, and you find your way back to the land, to the ground, no longer high on these peaks.
I would have refilled all my water skin stuff from the amazingly delicious spring.
Oh, very good call.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good plan. And as you make it onto solid, non-mountainous ground, the camera shifts, and all around are flames and screams. No! And warriors in heavy armor, interspersed with shields of arms, rushing in and out of buildings, pulling captives and people out of them, dragging them down the street. As though set alone among all this chaos, a giant of a man in jet black armor, laced with a bit of red here and there. His long black hair flows in a breeze as sand kicks through the streets. Two men come up to him, They seem to converse for just a few moments, and they continue at a very marched pace, the tall man following behind. The heft of the blade that sits upon his back does not deter him from moving quickly. In the sun, a red stone shines on the pommel as he is brought in front of a jail cell, and the two warriors begin dragging a man in front of him. They scream at the prisoner to tell them what he knows, to tell them where they are. He spits at the feet of these two fighters, but then his eyes catch the man in front of him, and to him the man stands as a demon. Black wings flow out where his cape moved in the breeze. His eyes burn with a red fire. His mouth rows of sharp teeth, and the man screams as a clawed hand reaches towards him. And that's where we're leaving until the next time on the Swordcast Adventures, guys.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey guys, this is Jess, aka Rain. I just want to let you know to follow us on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at /theswordcast. If you want to show us some support, the most direct way possible to do that is at Patreon, patreon.com/theswordcast for monthly donations for some really cool rewards over there. And if a one-time donation is more your speed, you can also donate at ko-fi.com/theswordcast. And we're really excited to announce that we will be starting a new campaign of Dragon Heist, actually, on Twitch. We'll be live streaming this one. We did have to push the start date back a little bit further than planned. We are just waiting for some really cool stuff to come in the mail that's going to be super exciting. And we will be starting that on January 2nd. And as for me, you can find me on most of the socials at Fibromancer, which is FIBROMANCER. And you can find my dice bags and other D&D inspired craft stuff at fibromancy.etsy.com. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.